All right. Okay. I think we're back. Yeah, okay, we're back. Oh my god, that frickin' bloom. I wonder why it shut off the stream very quickly. I wonder if I can like fix that. Would not be surprised if the first time. Like this is gonna happen more in the future, unfortunately. The internet just cut out abruptly. Just fun stuff. And unfortunately, YouTube usually has a bit of a buffer too, that will usually keep the stream open for a bit, but it shut it down pretty quickly. I might be able to change a setting in that in the future, which I probably need to do. Alright, let me see what happens when I blow you guys up. Okay, I guess I hit the ceiling. Try it again. No, hold still. Okay, they actually, like, yeah, they suffered a little bit of an impulse there. Didn't kill him, but it definitely blew him back a bit. But no, yeah, they just took a shit for a second. Like, it actually just absolutely just died for a second. Now, I can't... So, take how dirty this looks, not at face value. Hold on, let me see how dirty this looks when I go to like 100% scaling. I am playing on reduced scaling right now, which unfortunately means things like optics look worse. Wait, did that? Do I need to apply it? Oh god, FPS. Actually, it's still pretty bloomy. If I can feel the FPS jug now, let's go back down to 60%. Down you go. Yeah, I cannot play 100% scaling. 100% scaling just destroys my CPU. Alright, I want to blow something up with the grenades. I need people to stand still to do that with me. I need them to stand still. Can you please stand still? Oh, that was lackluster. Okay, that's pretty satisfactory, I will say. That's a good way of making the grenades feel better. Hey, Nava, welcome back. Oh god, oh no. Wait, did healing just get me out of the animation? That's pretty big game, actually. That's big tech. I think healing got me out of the stagger animation. We keep that tech secret, okay? It's very powerful technology. There we got one medium mech. Now there's the chug. Whoa, whoa. Hey, nope, stop that. Internet cut out for a second, novel. Unfortunately, just, like, I need to see if there's a YouTube setting to make the stream can't close as early. Because I can usually, like, an intermittent cutout like that, I can usually keep it open. But it closes the stream before I could keep it open. Maybe because it was like an abrupt cutoff, like, right? It was like no internet for a second. Oh, chug. Oh, that's been a thing for a while. That's been a thing since last patch. The knockdown. Though the mechs usually don't shoot you all that much right now. Oh my god, you're tanky. So I will say this, like, from my experience thus far, the game hasn't got harder, asterisk mark. It feels better, but hasn't gotten harder. The only areas where I said it got harder is it punishes people who fall for noob traps harder, right? Like, if you're not willing to bring in lots of ammo to kill things, the game punishes you more now. Or if you bring in ineffectual guns, the game punishes you more now. You can't bail yourself out by running away in lots of instances anymore. Oh fuck, I'm dead. Oh god. Obey the laws of physics! Yeah, EODs are so fucking fast now because of the bug. Or because of the tick rate thing. We're in like a shanty area right now. There's lots of levels here. There's like 3 or 4 more levels above us, I think. This is definitely one of the hot button areas of the map. It's kind of a clusterfuck sometimes. Oh wait, I wonder if they hold on here. Okay, no. I was wondering if they added the indicator to, like, it tells you what item you're on right now. I was kind of hoping that it would tell you even when you have no HUD on. But alas. But no, yeah, there's like this level up here, and there's another level up top. There's lots of levels to this frickin' place. How coincidental we find an E-Nuggy. E-Nugget 0. Hold on here. Come here, you. Brain food. Nanocellular something? Hold on. I get closer to this. Nanocellular Reog? Psychoactive substrate. No side effects reported. Ethically manufactured. Nutrition. Nutrition without the paint. Without the pain? Paint? Huh. Use for protection, guarantee 100% minor chance of terminal poisoning. Alright.
Hey, watch my
Well, if you're gonna say that, then.
I'm sifting.
I can't get the man, I need to take some damage. Well, I can fix this. I read it out loud. Are you saying my narration's bad? So it says 480 hours of brain fog, nanocellular reog, psychoactive substrate, no side effects reported, ethically manufactured, nutrition without the paint. That 100% says paint. Use with protection. Guaranteed 100% minor chance of terminal poisoning. E-Nuggies. Limited edition. State-sponsored project or product. Temporarily approved for immediate legal consumption for most Euro states. Alright, so to eat some neat nuggies, we need to go and take some fall damage here. I said some, not all fall damage. E-Nuggies. Who doesn't love eating plastic chips?
Everyone for themselves.
What do you mean, Jay? It's very clear you're eating food there. I don't see your problem. Wait, is it eat a little? Nah, whatever. Provisional police. Special area, do not enter. By the way, I have great news. For those of you who joined me during our backrooms exploration of this map, despite them saying they fixed the out-of-bounds areas of this map, you can still get there the way I did it. The only problem is the fall damage right now is insanely brutal. But I think that might be a bug. For example, I would be using pneumatic jump already if it wasn't for the bug. Pneumatic jump is unusable right now. No, go away. You're uninvited. Alright, it might be time to leave. I'm not gonna fuck with HKs, to be honest. Not at my current level, not with my current HP, and not with all the stuff going on right now. Time to leave.
I think they spotted us. That's it for us.
In this economy? God, no. No HK, please. Also, to give you an idea of the bug also, the pack mule, which is probably like the biggest rig in the game that can carry the most, says it tops out at like 180 kilograms before it's full. We're at 208 with a lesser rig. That's just like kind of showing you the bug, kind of, sort of. It was nice seeing drones die. Alright, on to skedaddle.
I hope you bastards at home appreciate this.
Alright, so now we can go back and get our experience. for heavy rifles. Oh no, dude, I agree with you. But like, I'm not sure how much of that is the very much bugged weight mechanic right now. Like, it could just be the fact that for any non-default rig, weight is bugged. Alright, back to RPK. Let's 50 cal too while we're here. Aramaki. Oh, you're still sold out. I have not. I might actually go... Let's go over to Mesa and see if we can find some sync kills. Let me fix my optic here too, so we can farm up some experience on this gun. How dare you? Alright, we have our ammo. Let's go over to Mesa. Let's see if we can see some sync kills. Oh, let me bring some drills too, actually. If we're gonna watch the mechs die, let's bring some drills. Imagine if we can get a codex this early. Man, how much, that'd be so much freaking money. But our main goal right now is probably level up the Scar. Because, like, the Scar is still the de facto if you want to run and gun and kill things. The Scar is great once you get the drum mag.
Hard to breathe up here.
Alright, so, caution. Be very careful with pneumatic jump. I'll show you why. Be very, very careful with pneumatic jump. You take fall damage. Oh, there's no mechs around, really? Yeah, this used to actually be a bug before, and they basically nerfed fall damage to the, like, they nerfed fall damage heavily. They unnerfed fall damage back to the prior system, and now we have the old bug again where just using pneumatic jump will basically obliterate your kneecaps. As long as you jump up, you're fine, by the way. It's just if you ever go farther down from where you started, as you can see, it hurts a lot. And it seems to maybe do something along with stamina, right? As you can see, when I fall, like, it seems to be draining some stamina sometimes, which is kind of weird. Unfortunately, no medium mechs in this run. And velocity's still kind of slow. So the problem is like, essentially, to my knowledge, if you make projectiles too fast, there's a chance they just go through the enemy they're trying to collide with. And especially that becomes a big issue in multiplayer. When you have network syncing. What do you mean, Noah? What are they thinking? What? You're talking about the stamina? The what mechanic do you mean? What do you think? What were they thinking? That could mean so much. The velocity is the. I hope they fine-tuned it to be like as much as they can get, but I do think they should probably do a bit more. No, the velocity of 50 cal has always been this slow, to be honest, in the game. It's always been kind of a very slow bullet in regards to where it's been. Oh, the glowing bullet, again, 50 cal, it's been a thing. This is not new for this gun. You just don't usually snipe with it, so you don't notice it. Like, if I go to third person, right? Yeah, it's quiet on Mesa today, my god. Where are my mechs at? The velocity or this the big projectile? Well, so Jay, I'm not. It might be a technical constraint, right? Like I was mentioning, Jay.
I live for this.
Like, there's a chance that if you make a projectile too fast in the game, it might go through the collision box it's supposed to collide with. Especially once you start getting into peer-to-peer. And considering they've already had issues in the past with peer-to-peer, with enemies or things going through collision walls, I can understand if there's a constraint here in regards to that. Now, I do hope they can optimize it in the future, but like, I understand if it might be a blocked item.
Pure. Good luck.
Well, so it's more in the sense, Jay, it's more about proportionality, right? So say, for example, like it's proportionality and it's also game considerations too, right? I do agree with you, it should be faster, but like making it as fast as the RPK kind of means that it's about gamification too, right? This is not a milsim. I do agree it should be faster. I don't mind it being slower than 7.62 though. I don't think that's true, Noah, in the sense of like, okay, so the saw is a weird thing, like, okay. Using LMG in this game currently is not fair because the LMG in this game are god-awful. It's a simple, like, the LMG in this game have insane bloom for some reason. But, like, if you're comparing a rifle in this game, you can put 5 shots pretty accurately in this game. Like, hold on. Well, it's, like, especially step back, right? I'm not just to the tank. The LMGs are a weird thing that have been quirked up for a while, Noah. That's been a thing for, like, multiple patches at this point where LMGs are basically useless because for some reason they get hit by deviation/bloom very quickly. That's just an LMG quirk in the game currently. Once again, also not a milsim, but I do agree with you, LMGs are awful in the game currently. And like the M249 in game is currently one of those situations where, yeah, it's god tier awful in game. Because you can't full auto it for a second without it just going crazy with deviation. No, the LMGs are objectively awful in the game. Like they have not been touched in forever. They've kind of been forgotten, because yeah, they need some TLC for sure. They are, out of all of the guns in the game, they get hit by bloom the hardest. Oh no, the tanks seem to be, both the tanks and the mechs seem to be shooting a lot more with their guns, which is good, right? It was kind of weird how the tanks functioned before. I weirdly do think the tanks I don't know. They're better now. They still kind of, I think, ignore the players too much, but also I think they ignore the player too much because they just would be kind of too obnoxious otherwise. No, I've heard reports across the board too that tanks do seem to shoot their main gun a lot more enemies, which is good. Tanks do have high X for that reason. Actually, I'm not sure if Sabo tanks anymore do. That is the beauty of like a Challenger tank, right, with the Hesh rounds, is they can actually shoot high X. Do modern Abrams tanks actually have high X rounds anymore? I know they shoot Sabos, right? Do they actually have a variant of that to like actually shoot high explosive? I'm not a tank nerd, as you can tell. All I know is that, you know, Challenger tanks use Hesh still, or at least they have used Hesh. For those of them, like, they're programmable. Okay. For those unfamiliar, Hesh is basically a squash round. So essentially, when it impacts a plate of armor, it will squash against that armor and explode. And I believe they're not trying to pierce the hull of the tank. They're trying to cause spalling inside of the tank. And for those unfamiliar, spalling is basically hold on. We're okay. We're fine. Nothing's wrong. It's trying to cause spalling inside of the tank, and spalling is basically turning the interior tank wall into shrapnel. You know, we got this for this reason. So many cyborgs. I should probably get the fuck out of here. Oh god, I don't have stamina for this. Thankfully they get staggered pretty easily though.
I think they spotted us. Good for us.
Bye pals. No, I mean, yeah, Doom League heard me before too, right? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the HK mechanic in any capacity, really. I just don't think they should be omniscient. Alright, time to besiege again. This is what I don't like about like the current leveling up system, right? Is like I unlock a heavy rifle training, now I prestiged up, and now to unlock it again. It just creates this like very annoying loop of having to like both use and not use guns. Like I want to use the Scar because I want to level it up, but like I want to level up by prestige too, right? So it just creates a really weird loop. Oh, level 3. Yeah, that's nice. I probably shouldn't have sold that, but I don't care. Level 3s are pretty rare. Alright, let me go to a character who can actually use this, just to show you guys what I mean by this Saul is a piece of shit. I've not tried to force it yet either. I'm kind of just still playing around leveling up. Let's see here. Why not? We always use the suppressor. This is all fine and well. 200 rounds is perfectly great. Yeah, this is fine. And this will just be a good demonstration of just like what I mean by like the LMGs have kind of been forgotten for a while. The bullet spread on them is really bad. Now, I'm not saying that the saw should be accurate enough to like pop heads at 300 meters in game, because 300 meters in the game is probably bigger than most maps. But like, there's a happy medium, right? Not with the current bug. Like, if you really like doing scav girl runs with like the small rig, or like this stealth rig, sure. But if you use scav girl with the equipment runner, not currently. Like, as you can see, right, 10 bullets in, and like it's a cone at the like. It is literally a cone with like immediately just cone.
We're on the clock, people. Kill them quick.
Like, there's not even a build-up like other guns, it's just cone. Like, it works because you have lots of bullets, but like, it's real bad. But like, literally all of the LMGs suffer from this. That's why they're all just useless. Like, we can just bring an M4 with like 60 bullets or an RPK with 95 bullets, and it actually does work really well. This has been the muzzle flash forever though, Pixel, on this gun. I actually think it's a bit too dramatic, to be honest. Ooh, here we go. And the recoil feels bad too. This is like where I can kind of understand where some, like, if someone, for example, used the saw first, I can see where they're coming from when they say recoil is bad. Because the saw is really fucking bad, so I can understand, like, if I'm going to my default gun that I know functions well, like the SCAR or the RPK, I'm gonna enjoy that gun because it works well. If some guy uses like a Pipashaw or this gun, for example, I can understand why they say the game or the gunplay or like this gun or the recoil sucks. Like, the bloom is kind of ludicrous. Or let me not phrase it. That's not kind of ludicrous, it is ludicrous. Listen, fun dog, just let me in. Just give me a gun to play with. I'll fix all the guns. No, yeah, the muzzle flash has been like that for a while. Actually, I do think the muzzle flash and like the tracer rounds are a bit too egregious. Though they have fixed most of the tracer rounds for most of the guns to be perfectly fine. Just a few of them are kind of still weird. Come on, brawlers. I'm running out of mouse pad. There we go, we're good. Yeah, I did. I get name dropped by them ever so often. I had a heart to heart with Miles recently. And by recently I mean like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hopefully we might see some talks in the future about, or rather, like, you might see maybe a video in the near. This is not a promise, by the way, so don't say this is a promise, but like, I do think he got my, like, he understood my kind of my point of like, hey, by the way, the community doesn't really know what game you're making, and the game doesn't really speak for itself. So you might want to clarify what game you're making, because the Q&As aren't doing that. Hey, Roofer. I think it's in concept fine. I think it's too overtuned right now, but I'm not sure if it's overtuned because of the weight bug or overtuned because of just it's overtuned. All right, time to leave. No. Stop that. Run, massive. Run, Bagman, run. No, like, I'm not sure if he knew that was kind of the way the people were feeling. Like, I think his point was the work should speak for itself, but at the same time, when you're doing all of these things piecemeal, right, the work can't speak for itself. You need to speak for the work. And the Q&As have not done a good job of that. Lots of loot, at least. Oh, the PC9 Pro. Ooh, the M60. Well, let's do one more run with the another LMG, just to kind of showcase this is not bespoke to just the saw. All LMGs suffer this fate. I'll have to bring us some back ammo too, just in case. We'll probably only end up killing cyborgs here. We bring some meds too. We'll move prestige up also. That should be enough. We're not gonna be doing a lot here except for killing a few cyborgs. Roofer, it still has issues over like here and there in regards to just like the occasional stutters. No, I think we might just be seeing dev blogs as opposed to Q&As, and personally, I'm very on board with that. I don't think the Q&As were really worth their effort. I'd rather their first dev blog I think did a lot more than any of their Q&As have done. As you can see here, right? This is just an LMG issue, right? This is not just the Saw. Every LMG is like this. It's real fucking bad. Hey, Vinny, welcome back. Yeah, the internet took a shit on me, but we're back now. I have a better inkling though of like the time periods I'll probably I know I have a better inkling of my time I can work with now, and I also have a better inkling of like how to test it before I go live to see if it's gonna take a shit on me or not. So I have better quality control now, I think. I can do some checks before I go live to make sure the internet is stable enough for me to stream, and I know what to look for now. So you can see here, like, it works in CQB, but like at any like range, even from here to here, right, like the spread is absolutely comical. And it's not a recoil thing, right? Like, I want to make it perfectly fine and clear, right? This is not recoil. This is bullet deviation or bullet spread. Like, recoil is the gun shaking and your actual point where your muzzle is pointing being different, right, from the climb of recoil. What I am saying is that it's the bullet deviation, it's the bullet spread, where the bullet goes once it leaves or spawns at the end of your bullet. Yesterday I had classes, and yeah, like yesterday I just had classes. It was just like I was busy all day. I could have streamed at like 7 o'clock at night, but I just felt at that point I was just better off waiting for today. Because I was gonna think I was gonna be able to stream a lot earlier today, unfortunately. That just didn't work out. Thanks, Fourscreen, appreciate it. No, yeah, like once again, having 44 guns in your game, it takes a while to touch them all up, especially if you go personally, like gun by gun. I think they eventually need to do that, but like I can understand why it takes them a while. And like if their whole point was like to get this first in place as a global mechanic and then fine tune it, I think that's perfectly fine and well. I think like on a whole, the stuff is there for the guns. Now it's about fine tuning each gun to feel unique in this current system. Which is not an easy task, right? I will be the first one to admit that, but like it now needs to be done. Hey, no, Matt, how's it going? It's currently only for PC for a screen. They have talked in the past about console, but I don't think we've heard anything since then. So no ideas of like if it's in the actual like pipeline or what. We will see with time. Let's see if we can get nighttime babble now. But yeah, currently it's PC only, but they have done controller support, and like they do occasionally touch up controller support, so we'll see.
Just one more run. Just one more run.
Yeah, and some people just prefer playing games on controller too, right? It's also an accessibility thing also.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Yoink.
Just what I need in my life. A reason.
Poor guy. Yeah, I mean, I like Babel a lot in regards to like the actual aesthetic and like the structure of it. It's just, yeah, too small, not enough depth. It feels like they're just they have a very large aversion to doing indoor areas, or like at least expansive indoor areas. I'm guessing it's probably a pathfinding thing. If I had to guess, like, sure, indoor areas are lots of work too, but if I had to guess, it's probably a pathfinding thing.
Pure. Good.
Oh, I just shot him off, but he's still alive. Holy shit. Well, F you. Rip you.
I think they
Oh, there we go. Actually, tissue shampoo. Tissue shampoo. Tissue shampoo. Tissue shampoo. I would probably do a mix of both. I like indoor areas. I would probably start with like actually pretty big maps though. Like not big maps, but like I would really try and see what's the breaking point. I would try larger, less detailed maps with like sparser units and spawns and see how that felt. I really want to, like, this map does a good job of making you feel small, but at the same time it really doesn't though, because you have to kind of like, there's so much stuff going on in the map, you can't really appreciate how small you are inside of the map, right? Because you're always like looking at drones and looking at shit going on and trying not to like die. And because like you're so close to the things that are big, you don't get that sense of scale as you get close to them, right? Because you're already so close to them already. Alright, good there. Come here, you. Sort of like Mesa, but like Mesa has the issues, right, where it's kind of almost leaning a bit too much into the extreme of that, where I would still have like areas or things in those kind of empty spaces like trench lines or craters and stuff like that. Like the main giant plains of Mesa, I think, are just a bit too desolate, or more ruins, right? For example, right? Like imagine, for example, a much larger expanse of open area like Mesa, and then you would have like scattered like areas of scrap yards or piles around, like, you know, the tanks and so on and so forth, and mix up trench lines. Like I want to kind of make the map feel like this is not an area where one battle has happened and you're seeing the outcrop of that. It's a place where dozens, if not hundreds, of battles have happened over time, and things have kind of grown there over time. Even with the night shift cleanup crews, there is still just stuff scattered everywhere, like hollowed out husks of tanks that have been scrapped for parts and so on and so forth, like destroyed trench lines, intact trench lines, so on and so forth. You can do, I feel like, a lot of storytelling in that capacity, right? Oh, definitely no. I imagine the grenade launchers feel much more satisfactory now, considering enemies like get flown or flung around now. So I imagine just taking a grenade launcher and just shooting at enemies from across the map is probably very fun.
I think they spotted us. Hit for us.
I think, I honestly, if I could do one improvement to Mesa that I feel like would be pretty low effort, I would add trench lines to Mesa and the plains. Like that would feel like that would be the simplest thing I would think that you could add into Mesa to make it feel much better. That's something you currently don't see in Mesa, right? Of like, or even Elephant, right? Of like moving through trench lines while enemies are fighting on each side overhead. Like Elephant tries to do that, but I think it kind of falters.
Finishing by the second.
And like you can do more nuanced things like that, and like you can have, for example, considering that's like it's an overpass area, right? You can do things right where you have different levels. Like you could have the surface level, the trench line level, and then you can have like the subway level or the underground level too. Essentially layer them on top of each other. And naturally when you have like an underground level 2 below Mesa, it does allow for pretty easy culling / unloading of certain assets above for performance reasons. Oh no, Mad, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I feel like I knew where they were going with Elephant, but kind of the current iteration of Elephant doesn't really accomplish that all that well, right? All right, we have a remote. We can leave now. I'm not staying for tissue samples. I'll probably run this back a few times to see if I can get night shift or not. Actually, hold on here. I got a gift for you.
Everyone for themselves.
Is he dead? He's dead. I like Elephant too, but I do think Elephant kind of, it feels like it wants to be a map where it has that kind of dynamic going on, but it doesn't really have that dynamic going on. 100% no pixel, like that could be a way they can do it, right? is they can just have it be loading screens. Like if they were ever gonna do the bunker under Mesa, like I'm perfectly fine with that being a loading screen area. Let me eat some snacks here. Apparently they said they fixed the pathfinding on that map. I haven't tried. Maybe we should go to Elephant next and actually see if they fixed the pathfinding on Max. They said they did, I think. So Max shouldn't get stuck in the trenches so much anymore. But we can go take a look. I don't think there's really any way I know about of... Hold on. I don't know of any way currently. Stamina? I don't know of any way currently to know if you're going to be loading into a night shift.
Death is on its way here.
I don't know, Nomad. It's I know it's on my end. It's basically fine now in comparison to earlier. Earlier was really bad, and I had to stop the stream a few times. But now it seems to be working perfectly fine. Welcome over to Twitch. Yeah, the game does tell you the reason why you get HKs now, for transparency purposes. It doesn't make their omniscience okay still, I think, but like it does make it better. So you like at least tells users of like, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is why people are coming after you now. Oh, Carlos, same thing with the whole, what's it called?
At least we made it.
The whole bug fix in regards to enemies doing pot shots at you. Just still not fixed. Poor Jeff and Miles are probably pulling their hair out of that. They keep trying to fix it, but it keeps just not getting fixed. It's gotta be so frustrating. Alright, let's do a quick elephant break to see if how the mechs are moving through the trench lines. Have your rifle back. Give me back my scar. There we go. Okay, this is not the best magazine, but it's better. It's 20 rounds is actually serviceable. I can work with 20 rounds. That's enough to start mowing down cyborgs in some good capacity. We'll bring some backup 762. Let's get some quests also for Elephant if we can. Sure, civilians. Yeah, bot shots still happen. Enemies still shoot at you all the time without being aggroed. Now we can bring cigarettes, I guess. Yeah, but all in all, like, I will say, like, this has been a fresh start. It's not been too bad. The only times where I feel like I've actually died has like been like when I've done things that kind of have been noob trappy, I think. Like for example, bringing the pupa shot without a silencer. Things I wouldn't recommend like new players do, right? Like not rocking a silencer on your guns is a surefire way to gas out all your ammo and die. But like, the game maybe feels a bit harder, but I wouldn't say it feels like catastrophically harder. Just slower is what I would say, right? Just slower. I still don't feel like I'm making like tactical choices. I'm just more like, hey, I'm just approaching it slower now and still gunning things down. I would say one big aspect I will mention is you generally do not want to have too skimpy of a CPU. So for context, I run this game at 1440p, 60% scaling, at all high settings with a 3080 and a 5800X, and I am CPU bound. So for example, the reason why I run 60% scaling is because UE5 does offload a decent amount of work to the CPU, and if I up the resolution scaling to 100%, so I run full resolution, I get low FPS. If you're running a 20 series card and a decent CPU should be okay. If you're running a 10 series card or below, you're gonna have a rough time, but it might still be playable in some capacity. CPU wise, I would say as long as like your 3rd or 5th gen Ryzen or better, I think you're kind of okay, but your mileage may vary. If you're concerned about spending them, like, you can always refund the game too for us, because 2 hours and it doesn't run well, you can always refund it. You can try the demo first. The one thing I will mention as a catch-all is, if you're running an NVIDIA card, make sure in the NVIDIA control panel on your desktop, you increase your shader cache size to 100 gigs at least, or unlimited. It's not going to use all of that storage space, but it just wants to have it available for some reason. Like, the shaders only use like 2.8 gigs or something like that, but for some reason, when they do not have the capacity, or they, like, if they're under the default of only 10 gigs, they freak out a bit for some reason. It's not a good benchmark, but it's a decent benchmark pixel.
Eyes on us. Spread out.
Like, if you get okay frames on the demo, you should be way better off in live. But if the demo runs absolutely horrifically for you, you might still have plenty of issues on live too. Reefer, I agree in the sense that the game feels better for being slower, but it's like the game's been slowed down, but everything you should do is still the same. Thanks, Leo. That's good information to know. So there's your benchmark of that. I would say that's a 50% scaling helps out a lot there. So like, yeah, 60 FPS is pretty good though. Those are pretty like modest specs for sure. Oh. What the hell? Fucking cyborg space program. The new Kerbal. Yeah, I don't mind the slower pace, but like, it's just the same game as it was before the slower pace. Now, the only caveat I will add is that combat is deadlier now if you are not like, before when you could heal mid-combat while still shooting. Okay, let me explain the concept, right? There is a hidden value, right? So like, when you can heal mid-combat while dealing out damage, your HP isn't your HP, right? Your actual HP is whatever medkit you have on you, you're willing to pop, right? While you're healing and while you have HP. So like, there's an effective HP, right? So that effective HP is now essentially gone because you really cannot heal during combat anymore without giant risks. Healing is more of like a mid-combat or like after combat sort of thing. So the amount of HP you actually have access to fight in fights is much less now. So that does make combat harder if you are being belligerent. No, great. I'm not a big fan of the aesthetic of guns, but it's what we currently have, though, so it is what it is. I do enjoy them too, yeah. And I do like the fact that you can sprint with the small medkits. I think that like, for a person who wants to play fast, like, and sprint around, the small medkits are really cool. And like, that's a thing too, right? Like, that's why I don't mind the idea of people spamming sprint, for example, is if as long as it's consuming a resource that takes time to replenish, like, it allows for a cool design space of like letting people do certain things while sprinting or not sprinting. So for example, right, like, if you were playing a slow methodical playstyle, small medkits don't really do a lot for you, right? But if you're playing a fast playstyle that's sprinting a lot and using mobility to your advantage, small medkits is actually your bread and butter, right? Because you can sprint with small medkits and use them. Any other medkit you have to be walking to use. And to be fair, I wouldn't even mind it if they forced you to be stationary with advanced medkits. Now, or rather maybe made you slower as opposed to the pure stationary. Maybe Nomad. I know they don't want to replicate Tarkov 1-for-1 or survival games 1-for-1, which I'm perfectly fine with. But I did mention earlier, right, about like having a system that kind of like is a catch-all for stamina, energy, and water, or food and water, right? If you blanket everything together like under energy, you can have all of the things affect that one bar. I haven't seen a grabber yet on this wipe, though I see lots of... the dead bodies here aren't really comforting. Yeah, the secret gunhead main. They don't care about stamina. They wanna convert people to buy... They're trying to convert people to gunhead mains by making stamina not a thing for gunhead. Which honestly, I'm perfectly... like, that's a cool way of, like, rewarding a person who can't heal, right? Like, that's a cool trade-off, in my opinion. That's a nice reward for a player, a character who cannot heal, is you can sprint around at Mach 1 for however long you want. I think that's neat. Hello, you. How do people die in here? What the hell? Oh, for sure. I do think they're just... I think they're doing... I can understand wanting to go through the pain of learning, like so many people before you. I do feel like lots of these design choices have been explored by other games before, though. Like, Tarkov did the exact same thing with stamina and weight and all this thing beforehand, right? Where they had a very oppressive system at first that they had to tune back on eventually. Every single time Tarkov's come out with something, right, it's been true draconian, and then they just, like, knock it back a bit and then people are okay with it. Alright, time to free some civvies. Yeah, my only concern, Nomad, is it's a very... There is, in the current game, with the current maps and the current way of going around maps and, like, loading into maps and just playing maps, there's definitely a tension with having a system that's more long-term based, just because you're generally not... What the hell? You're generally not going to be out in the field for that long to make a system that's more long-term actually affect you. Get up, get up! No, Pixel, you are right. It is the better approach in that capacity. So, making it too draconian at first and then scaling it back does make sense. I'm more in the sense of like, I'm not sure I'm in love with the just like initial design in the first place. I kind of would have preferred, like, I kind of do prefer the systems that Nomad's talking about more. Dude, I would die if I did 24-hour stream currently. That's not on the cards right now. I'll probably end up streaming tomorrow, knock on wood, but like, no, yeah. It won't be till later tomorrow just because I imagine the internet will be terrible tomorrow during the day too. I'll have to get a feel for like during the week what times are okay. I'll probably take a few samples tomorrow to see how it's holding up.
Damn, close call. On a day of close call.
But like, I like, once again, this patch hasn't done anything to how I play the game. It just made it slower, which is perfectly fine, right? And then like, from having slower gameplay, they can start tuning things from there too and adding more stuff. It did, but like at the core though, Nomad 2, they did have a design, like an actual like interesting game mechanics, right? And like, I didn't wait long enough for those guys. Oh well. Like for all of the faults of Tarkov, they were doing something novel and interesting. Now, did it have lots of problems? Yes, absolutely, but it did do interesting things. I don't want to prestige up and lose my scar again. I hate the system so much. It's just such... I just don't understand why this is the way it is. It's such a weird way of doing level ups. It feels like it's trying to reinvent the wheel when it doesn't need to. All right, nighttime babble. Nighttime babble. The non-spammable heals feel fine. Like that's I have no problem with that really at all. The stamina feels just a bit too aggressive, but I'm not sure if it's just because it's overtuned or because of the weight bug. We'll have to see when they do a hotfix.
Hard to breathe up here. Let the mask help.
Yeah, for people who need progression in the game currently, I can understand number go up equal like feel good.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
No, yeah, and especially when like you have characters who need to do it for their... Oh god, hold on. For characters who need to use it for their rigs, it feels particularly awful.
Hey, watch my back.
Pixel, I am trying so hard. So hard. So hard. I feel like they have something in the tank, Pixel, for long term to make those crafting timers make sense. Because I have mentioned it so many times to the point where they basically have told me like just to hand wave it. I'm like, alright, you know how I feel about it. I fucking hate it, but you're telling me to ignore it for now, so whatever. If there's some grand design here, I don't fucking see it.
Perfection. What happens next?
Am I going this way? Yeah, that seems to be Fun Dog's motto. Leave me alone. Fucking drones. You don't even have modeled guns on you. You fakes. Did I hurt your feelings, Mr. Drone? Good. Yeah, that's why the developer blogs I think are a good thing, Pixel, right? Because it feels like in the Q&As they're trying to get that across, but like they do it in a very convoluted way. The dev blogs are a very nice way of doing it, in my opinion. Like the first dev blog literally gave us more than any of their Q&As, in my opinion. Isn't Gray Zone the Warfare? Isn't that the one Nomad that came out and tried to like take advantage of the co-op scandal with Tarkov, but they pushed out a game that was so unoptimized it was poorly received at launch? Because it sounds familiar to me, Nomad, because I think I might have played it and uninstalled it immediately because it was terribly unoptimized. It was so very clear they were trying to cash in on Tarkov's like mistake. Oh god, they're also alive. Yeah, that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, Nomad, to be quite frank. They're probably deserving of a second chance, but like that really rubbed me the wrong way. I'll have to look at the refund, because I refunded it, right? So I would have to go take a look to see if it's Gray Zone Warfare. Because it sounds familiar to me. Oh my god, drones, I hate you. Oh my god, drones, I hate you. Hold on, I'm actually curious. Can I pull it up right now? Do I have Steam open? Or rather, do I have it? I don't have it open, okay. No! Snipers, no! Okay, secret tech. Fucking the medkit's getting you out of stagger animation. Clutch. No, stop, fucking stop it. Leap. Okay, I gotta fucking, oh. I need to have a conversation about these fucking animation speeds. No, stop it. We're good?
This is it. We decide what happens next.
What do you mean ammo is running out? I got fucking 350 rounds left. Or just even the magazine. There is a reason why I always bring up like 600 rounds of ammunition every raid. The easiest way is always through. That will be the actual factual real like the real paradigm shift is when they actually like if they ever nerf the ammo economy at the game. That's when I will have to start actually being scared. Hey Merrick, it's going well. They added a few new systems now to slow the damn slow the game down. It's gotten slowed down. I still approach the game in the same way, but like the game is slower now and it's better for it. Now there's growing pains for sure, right? We're still missing progression, like economy reworks. They did do a weapon pass for recoil, and the recoil feels better, but like it feels like they stapled recoil onto all of the guns in the same way, but now they need to go to each gun and actually fine-tune the recoil and how it functions and feels. Because right now, like every gun has kind of the same paradigm to it right now, but the recoil makes guns feel better. So like they're kind of in a better spot now, but they just need to do some more TLC. No, like when they actually do an economy progression rework, and like if they ever change ammunition in this game, then I will start being scared. That's when I need to start being terrified. No. Yeah, we're keep doing alleyway until we get actual or babble until we get night shift. Well, Bob, I don't think they can ever do it that crazy just because enemies still shoot all the time. I mean, we've had more... Ooh, night shift. We have more maps now, Merrick, but like the same design choices they make on maps is still the same. We haven't had any reworks of any maps really in a capacity. Hello? Fucking... Even on night shift. Drones. You pieces of shit. And your open drones too, that's weird. I would be surprised if we ever got to the point where we had melee in any real capacity. Like, I'd be fine with a bayonet animation, or like a melee weapon animation, but like, I don't think we're ever be like that in depth. Just too much work. Well, no, it kind of depends, right? Of like, the way I kind of picture it, Noah, is that you would have different rarities of ammunition types among certain factions, and you would correspond weapons to that, right, to some degree. So, for example, considering the Scar 50 cal is like seems to be the common like service rifle of Europa, you would naturally come across lots of 50 caliber ammunition in the wild, right? But 50 caliber ammunition has a real downside, right? Because the only guns that use it are unsilenced guns. So in a way, it's kind of okay to give players lots of 50 cal, because it's not something they can play stealthily, right? And so you can kind of have each common ammo type in the game for the three factions have some serious drawback, right? So that them being ubiquitous and them being very common and you having lots of them doesn't really it doesn't really change the anti-shooter mechanic, right? Lightning's cool. No, Matt, don't worry, I know. Well, like, Nomad, if Gray Zone Warfare is the game I'm remembering it was, that was... Hold on here. Leave me alone. Hold on. Now I'm curious. Yeah, this is 100% the game. No, yeah, this is it. Okay, so Gray Zone Warfare is a game that came out, like, there was a drama period in Tarkov, which is honestly not that rare for Tarkov. Tarkov has had tons of drama periods throughout its history. And during one of those drama periods, Gray Zone Warfare pushed out to early access really early. And keep in mind, I have a 5080 and a 3080. Sorry, like a 5800X and a 3080. I'm not saying I have like the best of all greatest machines, but I would say I would have a pretty good gaming computer, right? It ran like absolute god tier ass. Like, I'm talking like 10 to 15 frames a second, like unplayable. And so it felt like it was just so thoroughly rushed out to take advantage of Tarkov's misstep, which to me put a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want you to do the same shit as Nikita and chase the clout of streamers or try to prey on drama, right, of a different game. Just make your game do your thing and let the product speak for itself. Leave me alone. Even on night shift, you assholes still exist. This is the goddamn same thing as day, it's just dark outside. No, don't you do it, no. Thank you. No, it was a really bad experience. Same thing with the eating animation pixel. It looks cool, it doesn't have to make sense. It kind of makes sense if you squint your eyes, that's all that matters. I will say this though, this map, okay, I will give credit when the credit is due. This map is what I actually prefer them to have night shifts as, right? Like, this map, I will give them credit where credit's due. They do a good job of clearly making it night, but not obtusely dark. Like, this is clearly a night shift, right? But it's not just insanely dark for being dark. Like, for example, Elephant. Elephant is insanely dark for just being dark. This is a much better, I think, version of a night shift that has good lighting still, but is clearly night themed, right? What is that, a fucking gang over there? What the hell? It is, Merrick, but like, to do so and, like, I'm not going to fault a game developer for doing that, but at the same time, if you do it and push out a shit product, oh yeah, like, if you were just trying to use the cloud of a game misstepping and then push out your own shit product, yeah.
Whittle them down and we can break.
And Nomad, if that was the case where they actually had a game that was like even like 30 to 60 FPS, right? Like that was still actually playable, I might still own it. God, it was so bad. Yeah, but this night shift is literally just, yeah, just nighttime. Which is perfectly fine. Well, I don't mind that all too much. It does seem like there's less inventory on the map. That could just be variance, though, between spawns. Oh my god, there's so many fucking drones.
My device getting out. I can finish it.
It might just be a random pixel. No, this has always been a busy area. This map's been a clusterfuck always.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
Leave me alone.
What is that?
But you can see, for example, why, like, using unsilenced 50 cal, even though it's really strong, doesn't really help you all that much, because sometimes you just get infinite waves of enemies. Alright, we good? Killed so many drones. Yet there's more. Leave me alone, drones. No, it was terrible. I mean, it is a UE5 game, Nomad, which means it's actually pretty heavy on the CPU. All right. That's it for today, everyone. I'll probably be back tomorrow, but it might be not till evening again. I'll get a better idea. I kind of have a better... School is back in session now, so everyone's back in town. So, like, things are busier now, so I can kind of need a sense of, like, when my internet's congested. So it might not be later streams. I'll get an idea of the exact scheduling and the bad periods, and then play around that. But I'll keep you guys up to date. I'll do a patch video, probably maybe this weekend. But I'll probably stream again tomorrow, too. Other than that, no, Bob, I would die. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Imp. Yeah, I remember that.